What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys, a bunch more updates from Rafael Brandao. Videos, pictures, and we are now at the 1 week out mark from the 2024 Arnold Classic South America, which Rafael has already won and intends to win again here in 1 week. Now, that being said, I think Rafael in these updates looks significantly bigger and most notably fuller than he looked in the Arnold Classic Ohio updates at about a week out. That was kind of the general consensus when he first started posting like those hotel room and then those gym posing videos ahead of the Arnold Classic Ohio. A lot of people felt he looked flat, he looked a little bit small. We already know that in these pictures, he's weighing close to 270. We didn't know exactly what he was weighing a week out from Ohio, but he definitely, to me, looks bigger and fuller going into the South America show. Overall, I think he looks phenomenal at a week out. These updates, I think, are pretty impressive. And again, we've talked about this a lot, but the criticism against Rafael has constantly been he's not big enough. He's getting out-muscled. He's getting outsized. We know here he's close to 270 pounds. He looks full. He looks big. I'm convinced we're going to see an even better look at the Arnold Classic South America than we saw from the Arnold Classic Ohio. And again, I think that was the best look we've ever seen from Rafael. And I think if he does win this Arnold Classic South America, he's making a strong case for himself, improving upon his last Olympia placing, which was 10th in 2022. Because he's going to beat, if he wins the Arnold Classic South America, he's going to beat a really impressive lineup. We've already talked about that. Good Vito, Carlos Thomas Jr., Tonio Burton, who was 8th at the last Olympia. And if Rafael is able to win this, he's had a really strong season because the Arnold Classic Ohio, even though he was 3rd place there, that's a really good placing because he was behind only a Mr. Olympia champ, the Mr. Olympia runner-up in 2023, Hadi Chupin, and then an Arnold Classic winner and a top 3 Olympian, Samson Dauda. So you've really got to look at that and say, if he did that well in that comparison with Hadi and Samson and he got that placing, and he's able to win the Arnold Classic South America where he would beat a top 8 Olympian, I think if he wins the South America, he's making a strong case for himself being realistically a first call-out guy at the Olympia, potentially a top 6 placer at the Olympia. Because while he didn't beat Hadi or Samson, I think a lot of people made a strong argument for Rafael versus Samson specifically. I think they were pretty comparable. I think they were actually a lot closer than people give Rafael credit for. I think Rafael was definitely pushing Samson in some of those poses. And if you think about last year's Olympia, the top 6, Derek in 1st, Hadi in 2nd, Samson in 3rd, Brandon Curry was 4th, Andrew Jacked in 5th, Hunter Labrada in 6th. The only guy missing from that top 6 is Nick Walker, who will likely be back in it this year. But I really realistically see Rafael in that mix. I can see Rafael next to Brandon, next to Andrew Jack, next to Hunter Labrada. Michael Krizo was 7th, Tonio Burton was 8th. So if he does beat Tonio, I also think that Rafael could beat Michael Krizo. I think there's a chance he could beat Hunter Labrada. I could see him in like the 5th or 6th place spot at the Olympia. So I think this is going to be, and again, if he wins the South America, it's going to be a hell of a year for Rafael. I think the time that he took away to put on size really did him well, and I think his new coach, Neil Hill, is really doing him well. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about how Rafael is looking, if he wins the South America, if you think he's going to win the South America, and then how you think the rest of the year is going to look for him at the Olympia. But if he wins, I really think there's a strong shot he's one of the top guys at the Olympia. Now, from the same update of Rafael, we also got updates of Flex Lewis. And honestly, I think Flex looks pretty impressive here. Now, Flex has obviously taken a pretty substantial time away from the stage. He did formally announce his retirement, but he has since said there is a possibility that the door could open back up to him coming back if the price is right. But he has formally retired. He stepped away from competing. He's a little bit less active when it comes to training for bodybuilding. And he's been gone from competing since 2018, so that's 6 years now. And he still has a really impressive physique for being away for that long. And the thing that I always look at when I see Flex Lewis is his forearms. I feel like he's always had these crazy Popeye-like forearms. And you can see that even though his physique is a little bit downsized and he's not quite where he was when he was competing, The forearms are still like the craziest part of his physique. They're still the things that really pop. And that's one of the things that always inspired me about Flex is if I'm about to train forearms, I'm thinking about like Flex Lewis, Phil Heath. And now, Ramon Dino's got tremendous forearms. But I think Flex's forearms in this video look absolutely insane. Because realistically, now that he's downsized a bit, his forearms, that top part of his forearm, almost looks as big as the upper part of his arm where his biceps and triceps are. So Flex, he's kind of, I could still see a scenario where Flex does make a competitive comeback because we're having these situations where Flex he was the best 212 bodybuilder of all time on paper. And we're having these situations now where all these 212 bodybuilders are becoming really successful. You talk about Tony O'Burton at the Arnold Classic South America. You look at Hadi Chupin, Derek Lunsford. Keon Pearson has expressed interest into going into open bodybuilding. You got Angel Calderon, who's going to be going toe-to-toe at the New York Pro with Nick Walker and Tony O'Burton in the open class. And a lot of people are looking at the condition and the muscularity of Angel right now. And people are even making the case that Angel could beat Nick Walker. And Nick is like one of the most popular bodybuilders in the world right now. And people are actually comparing the two and saying Angel might be able to beat Nick. So you got to look at the success that all these 212 guys are having in open and look at Flex, even though obviously downsized version of Flex, post-retirement Flex, but he was the greatest of all time in 212. You got to wonder what kind of damage he could do in open if he decided to make that move. Now, next up in the news, we did get 2 physique updates from Justin Rodriguez. He says he's 2 weeks out here. He's 2 weeks out from the Detroit Pro, which is the second week of April. And honestly, these are some of the more impressive updates I've seen of Justin. I think these look more impressive than almost any of the updates we saw of him going into the Arnold Classic Ohio. Maybe he has some redemption here at the Detroit Pro because he didn't do as well as he planned or hoped for the Arnold Classic Ohio. I believe he put out a post, or maybe it was his coach Abdullah that put out a post before the Ohio saying he guarantees he's going to be top 3, but he actually ended up placing 8th out of 10. But here in these updates, he does look really grainy. He looks really conditioned. I felt like at the Ohio show he was having some trouble controlling his midsection. His midsection was looking, to me, really blown out at certain points. His conditioning was okay, but I don't think he was nearly as on as some of the guys that placed ahead of him. So we'll see what happens in Detroit. It should be an interesting lineup. But I guess we should just keep an eye on Justin going into that show because I think he does look pretty commendable here. Now, next up in the news, here's a guy that I'm really excited to see get back on stage. We don't know when it's going to be. He's taken about a year break. Quint Beastwood, in his latest update, looking tremendous. This guy is a bigger guy. I believe he's 6'1", 6'2", so he's like Andrew Jacked height. Very aesthetic, very small waist, and I'm sure here he's well over 300 pounds. And a lot of his off-season updates, he's in the low 300s. But he took over a year off to improve, put on some size, make some improvements, and I think they're really showing in this update. This guy, very young, great genetics, ton of potential. You talk about, the beauty of a Samson Dauda or an Andrew Jack's physique. And I think he has that same quality to his physique. Quint does. If you look at his waist, if you look at his V-taper, but then how wide his upper body is, how much size he's got, how big his legs are. Look at his calves. There's a lot of comments here about his calves. He's got some of the best calves right now, probably in the IFBB. His calves are huge. I kind of feel like he's a guy that when he does come back in whatever show he does, I think he could do some damage right out of the gate. He looks really impressive here, and I know he's kind of been away for a while, so not a lot of people have been talking about him, and his name isn't as well known as some of the guys that we talk about now. But like I said, some of those bigger stars that people really like their physiques, Andrew Jacked and Samson Dauda, Quint Beastwood has that quality. And I'd be very curious to know how much he's weighing now, how much size he actually put on in the year that he took off. He looks tremendous here. And for as deep into the off-season and time off as he is, it's not like he's in bad shape. He's got separation in his legs. You can see visible abs. You can see vascularity. He's in relatively good shape. And again, I'm sure he's well over 300 pounds here. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, we actually got a physique update from none other than Calum Von Moger. And it's been a really long time since he's posted a physique update. Obviously, we know all the struggles and the legal issues and the physical issues and the hospitalizations, all the ups and downs that Calum has had over the past couple years. crazy injuries, crazy setbacks, mental health issues. We haven't really seen the rebuilding process, or at least the result of that rebuilding process. And he posted this physique update hitting a most muscular pose. And I was actually surprised to see it looks like he's put on a pretty significant amount of size back from where he was, because if you guys remember that whole thing, you know, he was kind of at rock bottom for a while. And it looks like he's making a pretty strong comeback. He's put on a significant amount of muscle. And I know that he's been doing some convention appearances, but he's been wearing like hoodies and sweatshirts and stuff. But I'm actually happy to see that he looks healthy here. It looks like he's back to training. It looks like he is in kind of a more normal headspace. And I'm just glad to see that he looks like he's healthy. I don't know if he's ever going to compete again. I don't know if that's ever going to be, you know, in the conversation. But just to see him back and looking healthy and having some of his physique back, I just think it makes me happy to see. I'm glad that it looks like he's doing better than he was at a minimum. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification icon. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick, Strength, and Power. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NICKS&P. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.